Kraska took a vacation from work, so naturally we chilled and did nothing. Well, not really. Since we love art, this holiday was filled with a lot of arty stuff. So come along and become a part of how high functioning nerds are spending their free time. Let's get started. I thought it would be interesting to share with you this whole week because we did a bunch of cool little projects. I'll divide it by days. Day 1, Creative Platypus logo and Tokyo views. I've been meaning to design a logo for myself because it could be a lot of pressure. The idea I had in mind was a hand-drawn font. I didn't want to use any grids or existing fonts for a starting point. At first I think I put too much stuff. I wanted to include different tools that I use as parts of the letters, but very quickly it became too much. Mainly, the problem was that I had to make the word platypus way too small, and it didn't read properly. At some point it became Pilatipuvus or something like that when you look at it instead of platypus. That day I have to leave it be because I couldn't see a good solution. It happens sometimes even to the best of us, and I'm not the best. Meanwhile, Kraska got inspired by a present that she got from me for her birthday. Yay! It's an art book, or more precisely, two art books by Mateusz Urbanovic. Cool guy. She was looking at a site called MapCrunch, where you could give it some guidelines like choosing a city, what types of views do you want, and it would drop you in a random location, in this case, somewhere in Tokyo. This is an awesome way to stumble upon some great references to paint of environments. It's not as good as being there painting on site, but I reckon it's a second or a third best. She painted with gouache, of course, and she was very happy. I really love seeing her inspired. Day 2. Logo again for me. A lantern card, a birthday card, and a site for a bakery called Better Bread. I had to solve my logo problem, so I had to simplify it in order to make it a bit more readable. I liked the idea of a brush on the letter R, and the V was looking fine with that stylized pen nib. So I decided that V is going to be my illustrative part of the logo, and I would put a brush there instead of the nib, because I use more brushes in general. Maybe I felt it like this, I don't know. The rest remained simpler, and that gave me an opportunity to make Platypus bigger. For my sanity, I had to vectorize it in order to make small corrections. While I was struggling with my photo, Kraske had to attend a birthday party, so she made a birthday card. Let's see how many of you would recognize the little creature on the card. Keeping with a theme of cards, just as I said in my last video, I'm going to make a habit of making little card paintings. So that's what I did. For this one, Kraske wrote some random words on folded paper, and I pulled a lantern. And for the description part, I pulled moldy and mossy, and that's how I decided to make a swamp lantern. The story for this lantern is that it belongs to a swamp witch, and at night it's a nice walking lantern. But during the day, if it's not fed some glowing leaves, it will bite you. So be careful what items you steal from a witch, because they might prove that they have more bite to them than you expected. While I had fun with that card, Kraske did some mock-ups for the brand new site of the bakery called Better Bread. Day 3. 3D miniatures and fishy concepts. It's going to be a 3-dimensional day for me on a 2-dimensional screen. I wanted to finish my Lady of Silence for my custom army that I'm making. I wasn't expecting it to be so time-consuming, but she has a lot of details, so it took more time. Kraske had an idea that involved lino cutting. If you're not familiar, it's a technique where you carve a flat surface with special tools, and then you're able to print what's left flat on practically whatever you want. I mean, technically not everything, but almost everything. In this case, the idea is to print on fabric so it could become pockets for tote bags. She had some fishy designs in mind, so she started sketching. Day 4. 3D miniatures. Again. For me, Korean Jordan, guards illustration, and a bit of bookbinding. I'm continuing with my Lady of Silence. Almost finished, so I'm close to a brief moment of happiness. I sat down to work in such a way so Kraska to make some quick portraits of me. On these portraits, I'm apparently Korean Jordan. Don't ask. Just feel it, you'll know it's true. Or not. After all this, we moved on to completely different art projects. Kraska opened Procreate to start an illustration of 3 guards that would be very important in the future, because they're part of the Lands of Furtare. And I might be writing a book about them? Who knows? The composition she made is very cool, and I think it would become a very cool illustration. I was in the mood for some bookbinding, and that's what I made. 2, let's say, covers for a sketchbook. The idea is to put whatever paper, sketchbook or notebook in there and it would be protected. The other benefit is that I made a sturdy part so you could have a nice base to draw or write on when you're out and about. I used some elastic bands, and for a detail I used a pretty little bead. I liked how it turned out and also how practical it should be, at least in theory. Day 5. Guards illustration. Again, line cut, but turnip edition. And for me, working on miniature projects. Kraska continued with the guards illustration projects. but then switched back to the Linocut project. She wasn't sure about the fishes, so she switched to root vegetables, as you do in such situations, and it turned out awesome. She finally could test print, but we had some technical difficulties with the prints coming out properly. No worries, there is going to be some bug fixing. Maybe the surface is too glossy, the paints are not working as they should. You never know with these things until you try. For me, this was a moment to work on the kitchen that I made for my goblin miniatures. I made a door and a window with some foam and tried to make them look like they're wooden. Also, I painted the little props I designed for the goblin kitchen. A sack of potatoes, a pot with grains, and a barrel full of pickles, of course. Pickles heavy breathing. The oven maybe needed some more chimney to it, so I did just that. With some foam, again. The kitchen is shaping up real nice. The pictures are going to be very cool once I finish everything. In my opinion at least. Day 6. Mountains. The weather that day was perfect, and a little bonus is that it wasn't an official holiday, so there would be fewer people in the mountains. I love going to the mountains, it's so peaceful and calming. I feel so better when I'm around nature. Hippie alert. The dream is one day we'll be living in the mountains. I hope. For now, hiking will do, but someday. At the beginning of the hike, there's a fountain with fresh mountain water. So it's a good start for a walk. Fresh. Once we got to what is called the Golden Bridges, don't ask me why. There's no gold and there's almost no bridges to be found there. But still, a pretty place where you could rest and in our case, paint with watercolor. As you can see, Kraska is proving that my sketchbook case is pretty handy. We were right in our assumption that there will be fewer people. Nice. We made some big sandwiches, so there's no chance at some point we become hungry werewolves. It was a good choice. Always go with food when you're in the mountains. After a while, we moved to another place and painted some more. we decided it's time to go back and live with some good memories and a little sunburn. Well, it is what it is. It was a great week spending time together and making different art-related stuff. I would like it if this becomes a more occasional occurrence. But like the living in the mountains part I mentioned, one day. For now, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you could watch my other videos. The core of man's spirit comes from new experience. Bye.